Hi guys, welcome back again. Yeah, I've some other update. You can hear the sound of a grinder. It's actually grinding the wall. So we have decided that, or I've decided that, instead of rather waiting for the sand to start the plastering, let us then just start with the electrical wiring and the piping. So what we're actually doing now is that we are dealing with the electricity. We're actually putting in the wiring there, and then the plastering would then come afterwards. So yeah, I will take you through the journey. At the moment, they are still busy, so I just want to give them their time so that they can actually get the job. And maybe after they've made some progress, I can just walk into the house and just show you where they've done. And then, yeah, I'll just keep updating you guys. So at the moment, we have actually started with the electricity connection work. So we're going to be focusing on the house electricity wiring for now. And then as soon as this project is done, or at least when it has made some significant progress, then we can then start with the plastering. So I hope you guys do enjoy the video, guys. So I'm gonna be taking you there not a long time from now. I'm just giving them some time. You could see even some dust is coming out there. This is because they are grinding the wall. All right, guys. Now that they are done with putting or installing the electrical parting system, which is the first part of the electrical wiring of the house, now that they are done, then I just want to take you through the house and show you what's actually has been happening. So we have a socket here. This is actually the garage. So this is actually there's only one socket in the garage. So not much is really needed here. Yeah, so we just have one socket in the garage, and then now you can ask yourself where will be the lighting switch of the garage, because there's going to be a lighting in front of the garage just outside there, and there's also going to be some lighting inside here. So the switch of the garage and the outside is actually here in the lounge. So this here is actually the switch of the garage. So before you enter the garage, you can put put it on here. So you would have the switch of the garage. There's actually gonna be having to be three switches here, I think. Um, would have the front part of the garage. The switch will be here. Also the interior of the garage, and also outside at the back there, we'll need actually a switch. We'll need some lighting also, especially because you can see that from the dining room all the way through to the garage. It's a very big space, so it needs a light, maybe in the middle there. So now we also have um, a socket here. This is actually the lounge socket. We do have a socket there. So there's actually two sockets in the lounge. We do have this socket here, and then there's the second one that we have here. This is the second socket of the lounge. So there's actually two sockets in the lounge. Now this up here, it's actually the main source or the main supply or the power supply, you can whatever way you call it. I like the system in which they've put it. You know, there's actually some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lanes or 8 lines. The beautiful thing about this is that each line would have its own circuit breaker. So what happens is that if maybe in the kitchen you plug in something and then it trips, only the line in the kitchen would be off, but the rest of the house will still have electricity. Or if in the bedroom maybe it trips or anywhere else, that part where it trips will be the one that will be off. Then you can just come and lift it up here. There'll still be lighting in the house. So I like the system of many lanes. So let me then take you to the dining room. So in the dining room, we also have one socket. We basically, on average, have one socket in much of the unbusy, not so busy rooms. Um, Only in the lounge and in the kitchen do we have more than one. So we do have one socket here also in the dining room, and we also have a light switch here. So this is actually the light switch of the dining room. So the light switch of the dining room would be here. So that's it, guys. So that's it for the dining room. Let me take you to the kitchen. The kitchen is the one that has lots and lots and lots of sockets. So in the kitchen we have 5 sockets. We have this one socket here. You could see that is the socket there. And then we also have, this one is actually the stove socket. The stove, not the socket, the stove wiring. So the stove don't really take in a socket because it gets to be connected all alone. So you don't need to put it on and off. Um, Actually, according to law, you need a qualified stove installer. So a qualified electrician would actually do that job. But at least the guy who's doing the housing here is a qualified, certified electrician. So that shouldn't be a problem. The advantage with that is that in insurance companies, if you insure your appliances, stoves most of the time do need some insurance. If you insure it, they and then you have to claim, they need the certificate of the guy who installed it. That's why that's important. But that's not a problem in this case because the guys who are handling this are qualified and certified. They do have the certificate. So this is the third. These are two sockets, right? This is the third socket here, and then yeah, this is actually the fourth socket here. So remember, this is the kitchen, so there's gonna be a lot of activity. That is the fourth socket, and then this here is the fifth socket. I hope you see it. So we do have the fifth socket there. So there's actually 5 electrical sockets in the kitchen. And then when we go to the pantry, we also have the pantry there. We have just one socket there. There won't really be much needed for this socket, but we just put it there for in case. So yeah. So now the lighting, there's gonna be 3. This is actually the kitchen switch, lighting switch. There's gonna be 3 switches here. You would have the kitchen switch. You'd also have the what you call that, the veranda lighting. So you're gonna have like the kitchen lighting, the veranda lighting, and also the pantry lighting. The pantry, you can see, doesn't have its own switch, so you're going to be putting on the pantry light on the kitchen switch. So let me take you to, so now this is actually the kids bedroom. This is the first kids bedroom. So we do have one socket here. You can see this is the socket. There isn't really much activity needed here, so one socket would do. So we have one socket here. We also have one light switch here. So this is actually the also the light switch of the kids bedroom. Now we do also have a switch here. um, this switch actually is the switch that is going to be for the lighting in the passage. You could see we have a passage here. It's quite a long passage. Imagine from here, from this part all the way there, that is actually the passage, some 6, 7, 8 meters. So you need some lighting here, and there will be the switch here. And also remember, outside at the back just after this room here, there might be a need for a lighting. We can also put the switch there. That shouldn't be a problem. Now let's go to the second kids bathroom. So the second kids bedroom, we also have a socket here. You can see there's a socket here. This is the socket. There's only one socket here in the kids bathroom. So there's one socket there, and there's also the light switch here. So this is also the light switch. So that is the second kids bathroom. So now we go to this kids well, that was the second kids bedroom. Now we go into the bathroom. So with that said, then we can then, this is actually the kids. Oh, I've been talking for so long, my tongue is a bit twisting. So this here is the kids bathroom, right? You could see it's a very big bathroom. um yeah, it's bigger. You can even use it as a room, but it's a bathroom nonetheless. So yeah, so basically this is the kids bathroom, and the switch for the kids bathroom would be here. This is the kids bathroom. So let's go to the main bedroom. Now this here is actually the main bedroom. We also have one socket in the main bedroom. Not much activities really needed in the bedroom. This is the bedroom. You have other places where you can actually, have all the other sockets. And now this here is the lighting of the main bedroom. Remember, we do have the main bedroom bathroom here. It doesn't have its own switch, so it's going to have, if you're going to the bathroom, you're going to have to put on your light here. And now since this is the bathroom, and we know the bathroom doesn't really have some electrical sockets or switches, so we don't have any switches here. All right, guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. So now that we are done with the first part of the electrical wiring, which is installing the electrical piping, we are going to be, the next project now would be plastering the house. So we don't have the other sense of loads yet, two more, but we'll start plastering nonetheless. The agreement we had with the electrical engineering, the electricity guy, is that as soon as they are done plastering, then he would come back and complete the job. So thank you guys for your time, and thank you for watching. I hope we meet again in our next video.